Computer. Okay, here we go, folks.
But can we get rid of the bar on the side there?
I don't know.
I saw a command I thought that said you could do that.
This is the closest we've gotten.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's the way to do it. Just run your control on the left-hand bar there. And that's what should be recording, just what comes up and not what's over on the left column there.
Yeah.
I'm talking and I'm on mute. Go up in the upper left-hand corner,
Yeah.
just in the gray, no, down to the gray bar,
Yeah.
and see where it says view.
Yeah. Okay. I
No,
need to
no,
do it.
no, no, no. To the right, to the right.
Yeah, I know, but it won't do it while. Oh, here. You see how it won't do it.
Don't worry about that. Just go
Go to view.
Go to the view.
View. See where it says view? No, no, down. No, no. Well, that might
Hide
work.
sidebar.
Yes.
There you go.
How many members of the committee does it take to screw in a light bulb?
More than 4.
How's that look?
Better than anything we've seen so far.
Yes.
There's a little bit of your desktop showing.
Which you can probably.
There you go. There you go.
Whew.
Okay, let's try this.
I need to take. It's time for me to take a nap.
Yeah, me too. I'm out of here.
You're going to leave me to do this. Thanks. Me and Tom. We'll soldier through, Tom.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, let's go.
3, 2, 1. We're so very pleased to welcome all of you to this public budget forum called Tacoma Parks Challenge, Living Within Our Means. Before we begin our presentation, I'd like to provide a bit of background about the co-sponsors of this event. The principal driver of this forum is the Community Budget Working Group. Well, you say you've never heard of this group before? Well, of course not, and with reason. After the city manager's budget presentation in mid-November, a number of us started sharing our concerns at the prospect of continued high city taxes. We sensed a familiar process that might lead to the city's undertaking more construction projects, buying more police cars, and hiring more city employees. So our initial discussions gave rise to forming the Community Budget Working Group, an ad hoc group of residents who wanted to understand more fully the city's budgeting process. We are a volunteer ad hoc group with no fixed membership, no dues, and no formalized leadership. Despite our informality, we've been meeting once a week for the past 14 weeks, each of us taking on tasks and exploring areas of individual expertise. For purposes of absolute clarity, let me introduce the members of our group. On the dais, we have Therese Gibson, Milford Sprecher, and Arthur David Olson. Other members include Tom Gagliardo, Paul Hubner, Colleen Cordes, Doug Abrams, and myself, David Reed. We are all long-term residents at Tacoma Park, and we greatly appreciate our city's public services, its employees who always help us in good spirit, and the overall quality of our city life. But after several meetings, we began sharing our analysis with other community groups and seeking their guidance. Those interactions led to a number of community organizations wanting to co-sponsor this event. Those groups include Community Vision for Tacoma, Parkview Towers Tenants Association, Climate Action Coffee, and Tacoma Stormwater Solutions. So now, 3.5 months after beginning, we're ready to share our analysis and possible recommendations. We are acutely aware that this forum is being offered during a very difficult time. We know that budget cuts are looming at state and county levels, and we stand in solidarity with federal employees and contractors who have lost their jobs. In this context, our goal is not to increase anxiety among our neighbors. Really, quite to the contrary. We only want to prevent further surprises and stress, both now and in the future, as the City Council approves the FY26 budget. So now I'm very pleased to invite Therese Gibson to begin the presentation.
We can see that city taxes are causing stress and insecurity, particularly for those people in our town who are housing cost burdened. The federal government defines housing cost burdened as those households spending more than 30% of their gross income on housing costs, which includes property tax. In Tacoma Park, that would be 21% of homeowners, 1 in 5, and 46% of Tacoma Park renters, nearly half. There are renters throughout the city. 49% of the housing units in Tacoma Park are rentals, and 40% of those are not rent stabilized, so that those rental units are sensitive to when property taxes rise due to high assessments. Who else struggles with high property tax? Those are people who have high mortgages, perhaps bought in the last few years with higher interest rates, and those people who have just lost their jobs. The city of Tacoma Park has the highest property tax rate in the county. We're at 55.22 cents per $100 of assessed value. Take a look at 8 municipalities within our county. The next highest is Rockville at 29 cents, 0.20 per $100 of assessed value. We're fully 89% higher than they are. This graph shows us city property tax revenue versus inflation over 20 years, from 2004 to 2024. The top bar on the graph shows us the total city property tax bills. They are up 127% from 2004 to 2024. Below that is the inflation rate, the consumer price index for those same 20 years, up 67%. So you can see how much more money the city is taking in versus inflation for the rest of the economy.
This chart is from the city manager's budget presentation, and it shows the budget that we've had a structural deficit for 14 of the last 15 years. What that means is that the city has planned to spend more money that it's been bringing in revenues in 14 of the last 15 years. In my mind, that's not a responsible way to budget.
Why are public expenditures so high? We want to look at 3 major issues: the expanding number of city staff, capital improvement programs, and public safety. This graph shows us 2014 to 2024 and the number of full-time equivalents, FTE, city employees for 2014, 158 for a population of 17,444. 10 years later, we have 180 full-time equivalents for a population of 17,464. Just 20 more residents, and yet we have 22 more FTEs. And among those FTEs, the majority are managers, so higher salaried. Spending on capital projects continues to expand significantly. The new library is costing us $20.7 million. Look at the trend on this slide. You can see that we began with a $3 million renovation estimate in 2015. Soon, that went to a complete rebuild budget of $7 million 2 years later. Now the city estimates the building cost between $15.2 and $16 million. Now, these costs include a total of $4.67 million in interest payments through 2047. Let me make it clear that city taxes are paying for $11.67 million for this library. There is a new public works construction project being proposed on Oswego Avenue. Keep in mind the DPW facility was renovated in 2011 for $3.69 million. Now we see more construction being proposed. The Maryland District 20 delegates, our delegates, have asked the state for $263,000 to design this new construction. This followed the city's request for $500,000 to do this. Keep in mind the city already budgeted $150,000 in design costs and $850,000 for construction for DPW in the most recent 5-year CIP budget that came out in fiscal year 23. And I will note that it continues into the fiscal year 26 proposed budget at this amount. Now, if the state provides a grant of $263,000, can the city absorb the full construction costs? A new rec center is on the horizon for us. Our New Hampshire Avenue Rec Center was built in 1970. A 2015 renovation estimate was $4.6 million. Now the city manager is saying a new build estimate is $15 to $20 million. If we extend this over a 30-year bond debt, it will be about $1 million annually that the city taxes will have to absorb. Now keep in mind that in fiscal year 26, the upcoming proposed budget has $160,000 in it for prep work to begin a new rec center. But here's something else we should consider. Montgomery County is building a rec center in the town of Poolesville for $15.5 million. Has Tacoma Park ever advocated for the same from the county? Here's a picture of District 4 County Council member Kate Stewart, our council member and former mayor, meeting in February 2025 with the Poolesville committee that successfully advocated for a Montgomery County Recreation Center. So what's happening in Poolesville? 100% of the cost is being borne by Montgomery County. What is planned for Tacoma Park? 100% of the cost will be paid for by a town of 17,500 people. The Atrium Project. This project is to enclose the community center atrium for additional police offices on the ground floor, a third-floor storage room and meeting room, and also with a complete floor build-out on the second floor. Details to be determined, but that is described in the fiscal year 26 budget. The construction to start on this will begin after library construction staging in the parking lot is vacated this summer. The community center is built in a floodplain. It has HVAC problems, and it also had now resolved mold issues and sewage backups. Will $1.4 million cover all the costs? That is the big question. Take a look at what the city is planning to do. On the left part of this design layout is the current police offices with the diagonal lines. On the right hand of that layout are all the new offices and restrooms being built on the bottom floor of the building.
Another area is the high cost of public safety. Here we have a chart that shows the Tacoma Park in comparison to the other two large municipalities in the county, Gaithersburg and Rockville. So you see that Tacoma Park has 6.68 police department staff Gaithersburg 86.26, and Rockville 97. And the populations for each jurisdiction here: 17,464 for Tacoma Park, 16,563 for Gaithersburg, and 67,297 for Rockville. What's also interesting is to look at the square miles, the area of these cities. Tacoma Park is 2, Gaithersburg's 10.4, and Rockville 13.6. So you end up with a staff per 1,000 people here of 3.53 for Tacoma Park, 1.24 for Gaithersburg, and 1.44 for Rockville. At the bottom line is the per capita cost of the police force, and this is for labor and benefits, of $531 per person in Tacoma Park, $174 in Gaithersburg, and $193 in Rockville. So you can see that our costs per capita are significantly higher, more than twice as much as these surrounding jurisdictions. So our key challenge is how can we get the city to live within its means? Over time, it'd be good to shift the staff size and top salaries back in line for a city of our size. Evaluate transferring some police work to the county. For example, the city of Rockville has the county perform all the detective work, whereas in Tacoma Park we have our own detective group of detectives. And then defer some non-routine capital projects. There are also some other options. One is we can evaluate transferring stormwater work to the county. We can take a look at less frequent vehicle and equipment replacement. We can also look to increase commercial taxes and/or fees to replace tax dollars lost from the repeal of the inventory tax in 2018. We can also explore increases in railroad, utility, and vacant building taxes. It'd also be nice to have some more budget transparency. For example, publish reports of contracts with consultants and service providers and their dollar values, and also have documents that are easier for people to understand. The Government Finance Officers Association had an effort a few years ago to make financial statements and budget documents more understandable for the average citizen. And while maybe some of that's been done at Tacoma Park, it'd be great to take a look at that again, just to make sure that people know what they're looking at when they look at the budget documents. And the cycle continues. We see that property tax increases are higher than inflation. That allows the administration to hire more staff. More staff soon require more office space. The council approves new construction projects. New construction bonds require higher taxes, and the cycle rolls on.
It's clear that residents of Tacoma Park need property tax relief. We want the city to limit total residential property tax revenue to no more than 2.5-cent increase, which is the rate of inflation. The current residential property tax rate is 55.22 cents per $100 of assessed value, and currently the city manager's proposed budget keeps it at that same property tax rate. But as we go through and look at the fiscal year 26 budget, we see some big costs coming at us in the next couple of years that may require increases if we keep on board with the current rate of spending. Thank you.
So thank you very much for this historical and actual analysis of the budgeting process and where we stand. I note that the city manager has very recently released the FY26 budget book, and that is available online at the city's website. And in closing, we would strongly encourage you to contact the mayor or your city council representative to raise any questions, to have them clarify any concerns that you might have. We would also like to invite you to share your concerns with city officials at the weekly Wednesday evening meetings at the community center. So please remember, the budget season is far from over, and we really need your active engagement to help express the needs and interests of all of our residents. Thank you very much.